Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. And as we come into the studio, you'll see a little bit of a what? There's a dog on the table. Well, this is Jesse Diggins the dog, and Jack and Jane Steffen are here from Gorham Bike and Ski. And we're going to talk about a bunch of things, but the first thing we want to talk about is, why is there a dog on our table?
Well, I've had an awful lot of people asking me about skijoring, and I thought this was maybe a good opportunity to talk about, some of the things that go on with skijoring, some of the equipment necessary, and what you can expect. Up at Prospect Farm for the Jackson Ski Touring Foundation, we have some trails that is dog friendly.
Yep.
So we see a lot of dogs up there, and although all the dogs that I've seen up there are really friendly dogs, sometimes it's a little disconcerting if you have a dog barreling down the trail at you and it's not on a lead or anything like that. This is a good way to have a little bit more control on your dog,
right,
and still the dog has a ball with it.
So skijoring is basically you're being pulled by the dog.
Not exactly. I think that's a misconception. The dog's really, it's your responsibility to keep up with the dog.
Okay.
The dog...
It definitely must help a little, though. You're getting a little bit.
It probably helps
yeah.
just a little bit, but it's funny, when we're going uphill, it's my responsibility to try and keep up to their pace.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I'll go up with two dogs. And that's one of the reasons why we recommend skate skiing. It's a little quicker, a little faster, a little easier to keep up with the dog and give that dog a little bit more exercise, if you will. But you could go out with classic skis. Just be aware that it'll be a little bit slower, and the dogs adapt to everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We were talking about that before, that if you have two dogs, it's like, well, what if you have a big dog and a little dog? But they know. Dog communication is quite amazing.
It really is. They'll adapt to almost anything. One of the things that, when we train our dogs, and let's talk about just leash training, oftentimes you have that dog on your left, you want him to stay right at, in the heel position, they call it. So you're giving him slight corrections, pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. Well, in skijoring, you want them to run. You don't want them to pull back.
Right.
So to try to avoid that, as a skier, that's your responsibility to try to be as smooth as possible, avoid any jerking back. And to aid with that, I've got a ski harness here and belt, and this, you can see, has a bungee built into it. So that helps it make the pulling a little bit smoother. That'll aid the skier. As I mentioned, we recommend skate skis if you have them. But one thing you should always try to avoid, and that's any metal-edged skis. Mm-hmm. They're sharp. They can, hurt the leg or whatever. It's probably not a good idea to go out with metal-edged skis in your dog.
And so you said you're seeing a lot of popularity, a lot more people who are both asking about it and up there. Now, so it's nothing you have this year at the shop. So if somebody's looking to do it, they can come and get some advice, particularly from you guys, because you know all about it.
Right.
And then really kind of go out on their own. But that might change. You might be able to get.
We hope to have some equipment for everybody next year, and we're pretty enthusiastic about it. Like I say, I go out quite often. We have some of our patrollers that go out and do a little bit. It's just a fun way to get out there with your dog and have some control. If we're going past some other skiers or other dogs, having them on a line like that, you can kind of guide them a little bit.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit more control with something like this.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. Well, I'm glad that were able to bring Jesse in today. And so how's everything else up there at Gorham Bike and Ski?
Well, now that we have all this snow, it's fantastic. We've really been hopping up there with our back shop, a lot of ski waxing going on back there. Incidentally, I noticed in the local newspaper we had an article that talked a little bit about waxes, and the danger or the disfavor of the floral waxes. I just found out that next year, a year ahead of schedule, Swix is going totally without fluoros in their entire line. So that should be pretty exciting for us. We can talk about that if anybody wants to stop in and say hi.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. And so the trails are open. And so it's a great opportunity. People want to take a lesson, or they want to learn about it, or they just want to upgrade their equipment or anything else. Stop in.
Yeah, absolutely. Just talk skis. I love to talk skis. We have a really terrific selection, especially boots up there. And we're pretty excited to see this fresh snow. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
And that's one of the great things about cross-country skiing, that downhill boots, while they are comfortable, they're a heavy plastic or whatever they're made of these days, boot. Where a cross-country boot is a comfortable, almost a slipper, I would say.
I've heard it referred to that as more often than not. And I've always said the biggest difference between classic, or actually any cross-country skiing, and alpine skiing is, at the end of the day, when you get into the lodge, alpine skiing, the first thing you want to do is get those boots off.
Right.
Versus cross-country skiing, you come into the lodge, walk over by the fire, maybe I'll have a hot chocolate. Oh, I got my boots on? Oh, that's all right, they're slippers.
Right, exactly. Very comfortable. Well, that's great. So, what are the hours these days there?
We're open 8:30 until 4:30 daily.
And so that's every day. And any specials or anything going on right now, or
just our normal package pricing.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is great.
Yeah,
great packages. So and it's one of the things too. Don't wait. If you're in the market for some new equipment, you really want to try to get out as soon as you can to get that, with the selection is the best.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about our most popular ski, the Super Light Twin Skin from Fisher. That's something that they sold out of last year. We have had a terrific supply both days, or both years rather, and we've still got a fair amount, but that stuff disappears.
Yeah. And with these kind of conditions, that gets people wanting to go out there. So.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Jack, Jane, and Jesse, thank you so much for coming by today. And you're going to try to do a little cross-country skiing today, you guys?
Yeah, I think we might get a little bit of that in, yes.
That sounds great. That sounds great. So definitely check out Gorham Bike and Ski, located right there at Jackson Ski Touring up in Jackson. And we're back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.